Welcome back to Juxtaposition 5-Minute Fridays. I'm JC, and today's 5-Minute Friday is entitled Worshipping an Idol. Imagine if you had an opportunity to tell your story, one that I would imagine would include triumph and glory. But that story would include some aspects of pain and shame, although arguably, you'd probably say it wasn't in vain. Imagine if you had an opportunity to share your story with those who will walk in your former glory, step by step, day by day. What would you say? What helped you make the pain go away? What would you share? What would you hide? Would you actually have the courage to put your pride aside? How would you tell your story? Would you talk about how hard you've worked to get to where you are? Would you even include some of those moments that made you feel as high as a star? Your greatest achievements, the money you saved, the babies you made, the roads you've paved. What about your not so good days? Would you share how those moments have impacted your current ways? Would your story highlight some of the obstacles that you faced? Perhaps even due to things you couldn't control, like your gender, family, and race. You might discuss love, hurt, those things that shaped you, or even tore you apart. Perhaps you'd even include some of those things that broke your heart. Would you talk about those people who have touched the depths of your life? Would you be brave enough to mention some of those who brought you nothing but strife? Friends, mentors, family, lovers. With a pen in your hand and an open heart, this is your opportunity for you to tell your part. And what you may not realize is that story will reveal so much about the real you. Those things that often get hidden in the dark, the depths of your most genuine heart. For most, they'd share stories that would focus on what they've gained, the way they've reigned, the pursuit to overcome their pain, breaking barriers, securing wealth, conquering those strongholds that, if left to themselves, will cause nothing but issues to your health. What would you say you valued most? Did you live with intentionality, or did you just coast? Living day to day without a plan, looking for security within your own hand. What would you say was your biggest lesson? Would you say that your life was full of stress, or would you call it a blessing? If you had an opportunity to tell your story, what would you share? What would you hide? Would you actually have the courage to put your pride aside? By this time, I've given you some time. Tell me, what's running through your mind? Do you remember your pursuit of success? Climbing that ladder as quickly as you could, running from your past so that you wouldn't be last. The thoughts, perceptions, opinions of others. Would you discuss how that influenced you? Or have you forgotten what's really true? Would you be vulnerable enough to really uncover those things that drove your ambitions? Those things that often put you into some interesting positions? While my approach today is poetic in nature, my goal is to allow you to reflect and to uncover what we often don't take enough time to discover. It's easy to say what comes top of mind, but there's so much behind the surface that's revealed when given enough time. Matthew chapter 6 verse 21 says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." So what does your story really demonstrate mattered to you? Where did you lie your treasure? What was your greatest pleasure? What would your story reveal about you? Were you focused on God? Or would that phrase be too good to be true? Could it be that instead of prioritizing the Bible to guide your life, you chose to live like everyone else, purely focusing on self? My desire is to juxtapose our denial, to reveal that many of us may have been worshiping an idol. Success, fame, running from our shame, and finding alternative ways to soothe our pain. Worshipping an idol, seeking to go viral, living for self, and often consumed with denial. What would your story reveal? At this point, it's too late to conceal. You're sharing your story, all things that led to your glory. What would you say truly impacted who you are today? What would your story reveal about you? Were you focused on God, or would that phrase be too good to be true? Your story has been written. Now it's time to share. The pages are open. Are you going to speak up? Or is it too much to bear? We will all make an account for our life. My prayer for you is that you didn't toil and let the true treasure spoil. Worshipping an idol often leads us to denial. Sit with this message. Think through your story and what actually led to your current glory. Was it worth it? Or did you forfeit the crown while simultaneously running yourself deep into the ground? Did you toil and let the true treasure spoil? The mic is in your hand. Would your story reveal that you are led by his plan? Join us next Friday as we discuss worshiping an idol. Until next time, this is a Juxtaposition 5-Minute Friday.